Did Elon Musk come up with the Hyperloop concept just to stop the California high-speed rail? Let's find out. I'm Ben Lowe. Recently, there was a Time magazine article that came out that said that Musk admitted to his biographer Ashley Vance that Hyperloop was all about trying to get legislators to cancel plans for a high-speed rail in California, even though he had no plans to build it. In this book by Ashley Vance, labeled Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future, on page 469, it says, "It makes sense for these things like LA to San Francisco, New York to DC, New York to Boston," Musk said at the time. "Over 1,000 miles, the tube costs start to become prohibitive, and you don't want tubes every which way. You don't want to live in tube land. With any luck, the high-speed rail would be canceled," Musk said, as much to me during a series of emails and phone calls leading up to the announcement. "Down the road, I might fund or advise on a Hyperloop project, but for now, I can't take my eye off the ball at either SpaceX or Tesla," he wrote. See, back in 2008 and 2009, California and the federal government started investing in high-speed rail. California was the first of many projects that the government was planning. Then, in 2012, Elon Musk did an interview with Pandio Daily where he talked about his Hyperloop idea.
But it would be for a fifth mode of transport. So right now we've got, of terrestrial transport, we've got planes, trains, automobiles, and boats for getting around Earth. But what if there was a fifth mode?
That reminds me of the pharmaceutical industry when they labeled pain as the fifth vital sign so they can sell more pain medication, which led to the opioid epidemic.
I have a name for it, which is called the Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop?
Hyperloop, yeah.
Is it like a Jetsons tunnel?
It's something like that, yeah.
Like you just get in and it whisks you?
Yeah.
After that interview, Elon Musk tweeted this. He said he will publish something on the Hyperloop in about 4 weeks. At the time, Elon Musk didn't seem to know how to explain his idea when his fans would ask about it.
Elon, there is one idea you have that we've discussed before, which is Hyperloop. And
right.
I would love for you to tell this audience what that is and how it could change our world. Again, thank you.
Yeah. I would actually love to answer that question, but if I do, that will be the news tomorrow. Whereas I need to do the Tesla news.
You did that?
Yeah. I think probably I'll be able to talk about the Hyperloop idea in maybe pretty soon. There's a Tesla announcement we've got next month, or so around June 20th or so, and I think I think at some point after that, that should hopefully that will be a good time to talk about the Hyperloop idea. But for those that aren't aware, the basic thought is there a better way to travel quickly from, say, downtown LA to downtown San Francisco, or LA to San Francisco, that's better than the high-speed rail that's being proposed?
Or, like the book said, he would just say he's really busy and he doesn't have time for it.
Okay, so a few months ago you teased Hyperloop, and we haven't heard anything since. If you feel comfortable, maybe you could tell us a little bit more.
I was reading about the California high-speed rail, and it was quite depressing, because California taxpayers are going to be on the hook to build the most expensive high-speed rail per mile in the world, and the slowest, which is, those are not the superlatives you want. And it's like, damn, like we're in California, we make super high-tech stuff. Why are we going to be spending the estimates are around $100 billion for something that will take 2 hours to go from LA to San Francisco? I'm like, okay, well I can get on a plane and do that in 45 minutes. It doesn't make much sense.
Is this around the evacuated tubes, the vacuum tubes, like at the old bank?
Like that. It's something like that. Yeah.
But you haven't been more public with
no.
what this is?
No, although I did say that once Tesla was profitable that I would talk more about it. But we haven't done our earnings call yet, so I think I should probably do it after the earnings call. And the thing is, like, I kind of strung out on the things that I'm doing, so adding another thing.
Yeah.
Then in 2013, he said he would publish Hyperloop Alpha Design by August 12th. Then on August 12th, he releases the Alpha Design as promised, and here it is. So a whole year later, and this is what we get. We get some sketch drawings on a paper through a tweet. Meanwhile, China has already laid ground for tens of thousands of high-speed rail. One of those links on that tweet led to this blog article on the Tesla website, where he says, when the California high-speed rail, in quotations, was approved, I was very disappointed. So it seems Elon Musk, when he saw the high-speed rail, he just thought it was really boring. Because, going 220 miles an hour is boring. And, having an option to not have to drive a car and finance and go way into debt is boring. So we need to come up with some crazy techno-futuristic design and wait 30 to 50 years for it. But really, his idea isn't even new either. The idea of sending humans through tubes dates all the way back to 1799. There's even a term for this type of thing now. It's called the Gajabon, which means a transportation concept or implementation that is touted as futuristic or innovative, but in execution turns out to be more expensive and less feasible than traditional means, outweighing their usefulness. Some more examples of this are the Skybus, personal rapid transit, monorails, the straddling bus, and various maglev trains that have been invented.
Yeah.
And it looks like it actually might work. Am I right?
Yeah. And we did run simulations at SpaceX and Tesla. So, we thought it would work, but I don't think it's particularly like. I think it's like the engineering of it that it would work is actually pretty obvious, honestly. But so I think the larger issues are political, getting the political support to do something like that, and then making sure the economics pan out. I hope someone does it, because I think it would be cool. It'd be great to have something like that. It's just like, it doesn't seem like our mass transportation is getting better. It seems to be kind of getting worse. So that's not a good future.
You said something there, you hope somebody else would do it. I'm curious, what makes you really so unique is not only your ability to dream big, but to execute. There are lots of utopian thinkers out there, but they cannot execute.
In 2015, SpaceX started building a test track outside the SpaceX headquarters for a competition for students. But then he also says it's not that hard.
And honestly, I think it's a lot easier than people think.
The blueprints are pretty complicated.
Well, blueprints are always kind of complicated, and yes, there's math, but it's really not that hard.
It still sounds pretty complicated, Elon.
It's like a tube with an air hockey table. It's just a low-pressure tube with a pod in it that runs on air bearings, on air skis, with an air compressor on the front that's taking the high-pressure air buildup on the nose and pumping it through the air skis. It's really, I swear, it's not that hard.
Over the years, they hosted a few competitions and had some students try to make some Hyperloops with varying success. A few companies try to make some prototypes. And eventually, Virgin Hyperloop did a test with actual humans in 2020. Now they laid off half their staff and they're switching to cargo. Then on July 20th, 2017, he says, just received verbal government approval for a Boring Company to build an underground New York to Philly to Baltimore to DC Hyperloop. New York to DC in 29 minutes. Well, this turned out to be utter bullshit. This reminds me of this meme that went around a couple years ago, where you can see China and California planned high-speed rail around the same time. So instead of investing in what we know works, which is high-speed rail, we would rather put that off and wait for some innovative futuristic thing to save us. Here we are 10 years later, and China has over 25,000 miles of high-speed rail, and we have nothing. And now in 2022, we have a renewed interest in high-speed rail, and conveniently, Elon Musk is talking about the Hyperloop again. Don't listen to these tech billionaires. The whole world is building high-speed rail. We need to do it too.